Okay, hello everyone. The Board of Commissioners as the governing body of Clatsop County, all county service districts for which this body so acts, and as the Clatsop County Local Contract Review Board is now meeting in regular session. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Nebeker?
Here.
Commissioner Webb?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Quila?
Here.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Just in time, Mark.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Yes, Mr. Sullivan. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming to our meeting, and we will now move to the agenda approval. We have a Madam Chair, move to approve. Second. All right, we have a motion to approve and seconded. All those in favor say aye. 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 Okay, let's move on to the next one. Will be we have a public health update from Dr. McNichol.
Is Mike on the line?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Commissioners. This is Mike McNichol, Clatsop County Public Health. So, as you may have heard in our press releases, as of today, we have 2 cases of COVID that have been confirmed. One of them is a female aged 35 to 54, and lives in the north part of the county, and one is a male who lives in the south part of the county in the same age range. Our staff have, as soon as we've heard about the positive test, nurses and other staff have been following up with all their contacts, making contact with the patients, getting a list of all their contacts, and then calling all of those folks and making sure that they're self-quarantining, and also making sure that they, if necessary, are seeking medical care from their primary care providers. Also, while we were doing this, so some of the other things that go along with that is we've made sure that they have the patients all convalescing, just to let you know, and none of them were admitted to the hospital. So the good news is they are on the mend and that they will be fine. Also, the 2 cases were not related, so one did not give it to the other. They were completely different. So we're finding that now we have the community spread concept is in Clatsop County, and so right now we're in the mitigation mode, trying to find, identify, and self-quarantine as many of those contacts as we can. And as we get more cases, which is obviously happening across the state and across the U.S., we'll continue with that process and making sure that we quarantine folks, make sure they get the medical care they need, and still with the goal of trying to prevent any mortality and as least morbidity as possible. Some other things that public health is doing, we've been working on a COVID-19 hotline that started up today at 1 o'clock. So people can call 325-8500 number, and they can talk to a live person, and they can triage all those calls and make sure that their questions are answered by a live person. If they have complaints about the executive order that businesses and or other things that they see are not following the executive order, we're taking those complaints down, and on paper we're going to route those to the appropriate authority. And we also have, if they have medical questions, we find out who their primary care provider is and whether or not they're CNH or Providence is one of their carriers, and we refer them on to those folks. Additionally, we have daycare set up for first responders, healthcare providers, and other folks that are listed as essential workers, starting on Monday in both in Astoria, Seaside, and Warrenton, so that those folks can focus on helping the rest of us and not worry about their child care needs. So that's a huge step forward. Additionally, we're working on the PPE issues, or personal protective equipment. We have some team members working on the logistics, making sure that whatever supplies are available at the state and federal level are allocated into the appropriate and the most needy folks who need it in our healthcare system. So,
can I interrupt you just for a sec?
Sure.
Well, having been associated with Red Cross for a lot of years,
I know that some of the Red Cross trailers might have that equipment in it. I haven't heard Red Cross at any of these meetings, but I haven't attended every single one. Is it possible to reach out to Red Cross and ask if we can access their equipment during this crisis?
Yeah, I have no trouble asking them. We could certainly we'll reach out, we'll make a note of that and outreach to them tomorrow.
Thank you.
Sure. Let's see, where was I? No, I think that's about it for now. I can answer your questions. I've lost my train of thought entirely.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Well,
Okay.
they've got trailers full.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right now we're actually hoping that we get some more PPE, because that's really one of the major concerns we have, is if we do have a medical surge that may or may not happen, kind of like what they're seeing in New York right now, is that, you know, we need to have enough, not only do our healthcare workers need to be safe, we have to have enough PPE to make sure they are safe. So that's our concern, is making sure those healthcare workers don't end up getting sick and then they can't be on the job. So that's what our goal is, and that's why we're working hard to make sure we can meet those needs.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, I talked to Nicole. This is Commissioner Nebaker, and do you know if do you receive updates about equipment, or is it just you're just waiting to see what's the communication channel about that?
So the communication channel is usually from FEMA to the Oregon Health Authority, and then from Oregon Health Authority, they work through our liaisons and our EOC as well as public health, and they have allocations by county. So they have X number of masks, and everyone's allocated those masks, and then from there, at the county level, we have a system to make sure that Providence, CMH, and other healthcare providers and first responders get those materials based on requests they've made.
Okay, thank you. Also, what is the status of testing? Is it still as it was, or has it changed?
It's still basically the same, although we have found out that CMH and Providence are doing a lot more testing, and it sounds like more tests are beginning to become available this week. We know that more testing is done. Public health still doesn't have the ability or the capacity to do community testing. We just don't have enough test kits or the ability to get those done yet. As soon as we get those materials, we could do community testing. But right now, the private providers through LabCorp and Quest, as well as the Public Health Laboratory in Hillsborough, through the private care providers and the hospitals, they are doing quite a bit of testing right now.
So, I have a friend who, she had been to a conference when the gatherings were allowed of 250 or less, and it was a health-related conference, and she learned that she had been exposed, and when she got sick, she lives in Clatsop County, she quarantined herself away from her family, and she called her primary and was told she couldn't get tested. So is that still happening, or has it changed?
It'll depend on the primary care provider. Some who do not have the ability to get those test kits through Quest or LabCorp may find them more troubling, but what I understand is now through Governor Brown that was on there today, is there's going to be more test kits available for more providers. So, you know, I would encourage your friend to contact your primary care provider again and see if that's still a restriction or whether or not she can get tested.
Okay, thank you.
If someone's recovered and they were to take a test, I mean, how do they know if it was actually COVID-19?
By the time you recover, you wouldn't. So.
Oh. I have a question about...
Because your body will build up antibodies and wipe out the COVID-19, kind of like what the flu does, right? So if you get the flu and you didn't get vaccinated, you're sick for a long time, but then you build up antibodies that last about a year. So we couldn't really test those with the flu after the fact. About a year from now, though, you'll be able to, if you get COVID again, we can test those folks if they happen to get it again. So because the genetic material inside those viruses generally changes enough that your immune system doesn't recognize it. So there's an opportunity next time it comes around. Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, we'll have a vaccine and we'll be able to treat at least most, if not part of it. So.
Very good. I have it. If people in the community have some of those masks or rubber gloves, do they need to be sealed if they were going to donate them to you, or?
Yeah, so we're working on that donation process right now. Emergency Manager Tiffany Brown's developing a process where that materials can be dropped off and be sorted and determine whether or not it's still viable for use in a medical setting. And I think she's going to release those plans here pretty soon. And maybe County Manager Don Boone has more information about that. But I know we were working on that plan as of today, and I'm hoping that hopefully by the end of the week we'll have those a repository for folks who want to donate things. And then we'll have some criteria hopefully outlined what we're kind of looking for and what we're not looking for, so people just don't drop stuff off that we don't really need. So we'll have those criteria outlined and probably get that out to everybody.
That's wonderful. And I just wanted to compliment you and your whole team. Those cooperator calls are very impressive, and I know you all are just working so hard. I just really appreciate it, and I hope we can, this will end sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I want to make sure that, Don and Monica and Tiffany Brown, Vincent Arts and Dr. Alan Hines, and Tom Bennett, we meet every morning at 8 o'clock, and we go over these things, and it's really been a great effort. It's coordinated, everyone's on the same page, and it's really quite, it really helps build the confidence and the security that the public health team, and then we coalesce around that good vibe that we have from the management of BEV. So I really want to do a shout out to those folks and to all of my staff who are really making this happen. So.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
I have a question. This is Commissioner Webb. Can you explain how the reporting system works? I mean, if I call my primary and say, and she says, okay, you need to be tested, then the test comes back to her.
So how it works is it depends on who is the person, whoever your primary care provider is. It depends on what lab they send it to. So, for example, if CMH, you went to urgent care, there's a CMH provider, they send it off to the public health lab in Hillsborough. If it's a positive test, they report it to Oregon Health Authority, who immediately reports it to public health, and they also report it to the healthcare provider. So basically all at the same time, well, within a few minutes anyway, all those folks are notified about the positive test. Now, if it's LabCorp or Quest, which is private labs, sometimes it takes a little longer, but the provider will be notified and will be notified at the public health department.
So all of these, what are there for? I'm sorry, in your earlier report, it sounded as if CMH and Providence had the opportunity for local analysis, but they didn't.
No, they can do local analysis for flu viruses. They did not have local, and they still don't for COVID. That's still at private labs. They have the ability to get into a private lab of LabCorp and Quest if they have contracts, but they were still sending to the public health lab early on because LabCorp and Quest weren't online yet. So early on, there was only one lab in the whole state that was allowed to take every test. Now it's being opened up to a lot more.
But they're not using class account. Is that right?
No, we still send them out. Yeah. So eventually, they'll come right to their labs. So.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, eventually, once we get, so right now, they still send those samples out to whoever they're contracted with, Quest, LabCorp, Public Health Lab. As soon as they have the ability to do it in the house, if they have the laboratory facilities to do it, they will do it. But my understanding is they don't have those capacity yet.
Okay. So basically, there are 3 sites in Oregon where these tests can be taken.
Right, that's where everybody's sending them right now.
Okay, and so do all 3 of those labs have an obligation to call back to whoever sent the test to them, or the sample, I guess, to them, And they also have an obligation to call you?
Yes, because COVID-19 is what we call a notifiable condition, and there's a list that's about as long as my arm of all the conditions that they must report within immediately upon getting those samples, so they have to report it in a certain time frame. And now COVID-19 is on that list, so they are required by law to report those.
Okay.
But only the positive ones, not the negative ones.
Right, okay. So how are we knowing how many, because I know in the statistics on the OHA site, they always talk about the number of tests that have been completed.
So they must have a deal, they must be requiring that labs tell OHA how many tests they've been doing from the privates as well as the state public health lab. Now, we don't get that information because they don't tell us, but we're really not asking either because, I want to focus on what we're really good at, and that is what, when we have a positive case, then we can start working on it.
Right.
I know that the state's tracking all the other data, so it would be redundant for us to do it.
Yeah. What does the word presumptive mean when they say that someone is a presumptive positive? What is
So when someone takes if I were to get when they take it, let's say I was going in, they swab me, they send it into the lab, they run the PCR test, it shows that it's positive, we have to confirm that still through the CDC. So by the time it goes through the private lab, it's presumptive, and then it's going to be confirmed when they go to the CDC lab for confirmation.
Oh, interesting. And how long does that process take?
It doesn't take very long, but once they have a presumptive case, they send it immediately to CDC, and they run their thing. It's probably a week. But presumptive is good enough to do action on.
Okay.
So my question, this is Commissioner Nebeker, what happens to the individual now that the tests we're getting more tests, and it might be easier to get them? What happens to the person that comes in and gets the test but has to wait until, I guess it's confirmed or whatever happens in Hillsborough? Where does this person go?
So what we tell people is, what we still say is that if you have all the symptoms and signs of COVID, you should self-quarantine, and then by the time you self-quarantine until you get the results, even if it's not COVID-19 and you have those symptoms, you shouldn't really be going anywhere because you obviously have the flu or something else that's very communicable. So it's good to self-quarantine. So that's what we're requesting people do, is if you're sick, stay home. If you give the test and you're waiting for the result, just stay home until you get that result. And then also just stay home until you've had at least 2 days to 3 days of no symptoms. So it's basically the same advice.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else have any other questions for staff?
This Leanne here. I really appreciate what you've been doing to step up to the whole incident command system thing and to keep the public health aspect going. It's a big leap. Your staff has been wonderful. I had a constituent call with a kind of an emergency about the WIC program today, and the county manager was able to handle it pretty much instantly. So the way you all have coordinated and the way you've risen to the occasion, I don't know what we as a board want to do to acknowledge that. I mean, it's lovely for us to say that to each other and to you, but I think I'd like the county manager to put it on a list somewhere that we look at it down the line to find some more adequate way to acknowledge, to respond to what you've been able to do for the people in Clatsop County.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You will. Yeah, I would think that's an absolute, but yeah, thank you.
It's on my list.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
Is that it?
Thank you very much, Dr. McNichol.
You're welcome. Anytime. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Do we have any business from the public?
No, we don't.
Any comments? Okay, thank you. And now let us move to the consent calendar.
Madam Chair, move adoption of the consent calendar. Second.
I would like, so it's been moved and seconded, but I would like to remove number 6 from the consent calendar and put it down into business.
I'm sorry, who was the one who seconded the motion?
Commissioner Neverson?
Okay, thank you.
Kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. I'd like to move the appoint the Clatsop County Council, I'd like to move that into the action business.
I accept that amendment to my motion.
Okay. Any second to that amendment?
Second.
I second.
Okay, any other questions or about the consent calendar other than that? Does anyone else want to add to that? Okay, so we have a motion, an amended motion on the table. All those in favor? Do we do the roll call for that?
Yes, sure. Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Aquila?
Yes.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Commissioner Neviker?
Yes.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so the consent calendar has been approved, and the number 6 has been moved down. We'll remove that down to, we move that as number,
It'll be number 12.
right before number 8? Number 12? Okay, all right. All right, so let's move on to the Commissioner Liaison Report. Commissioner Queer, would you like to go first today?
Well, I would like to second all of the accolades for our county commission or county staff, Dr. McNichol, Dr. Heinitz, certainly Tiffany Brown and Vincent Arts, and of course Monica Steele and our county manager Don Boone. They really have acted in this kind of caught everybody off guard, and certainly they mobilized and put everything in motion. They did an awesome job, and I appreciate all of their efforts over the last couple of weeks. I also, I don't have anything but a birthday wishes for Commissioner Webb, and I hope that she has an excellent birthday. Thank you.
Well, very good, thank you. Well, let's have the birthday commissioner go next.
Okay, I really have nothing to report. Once again, I would like to say thank you for giving us access to the cooperators call. I really learned a lot at every one of them, and I really appreciate everybody being on it. When I rang in today, I think I was the 58th participant. So obviously there are a lot of people listening, and I really appreciate that. I'm also, I guess a question maybe that I should have asked Mike McNichol, but I heard in that cooperators call about Astoria and Seaside establishing these child care centers. Is there any other school district that is doing that?
Commissioner,
Does anybody
this is Don Boone. All of the school districts will be doing it as part of the executive order. So Warrenton is also, Napa's working on it, and so is Jewel.
Okay, good.
And also to be clear, those are for basically the children of the frontline workers. It's not,
Yes.
it's not a general
Right, no,
thing.
I got that, but I think that's a wonderful effort. And I guess I think Sheila Rowley, when she was on the phone, she was talking about the fact that actually that had been mandated by the state. So hopefully they're going to get reimbursed for those costs, do we think? Please?
Well, they are getting reimbursed one way or the other, Commissioner. I think that part of it is the schools are still being funded, completely funded, so I think part of what the notion was is that some of these costs would be coming from the resources that they're already getting from the state, and if those don't cover them, I'm sure that there'll be additional resources coming in.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I hope that is broadcast widely. Although, well, I don't know. There might be pushback from non-emergency people, but I just think it's a wonderful thing for the school districts to do, so.
Absolutely, very good. Commissioner Nebeker, would you like to go next?
Sure. Thank you. I too would like to commend the staff. We have the most outstanding people working for the county. It's a great comfort to me. I received so many calls and so many emails this weekend, people very upset and very frightened. And I was able to respond to all of them except for one. I think that was one that Mark had sent on. I didn't respond to him, but telling them what we are doing and what kind of staff we have and how competent they are. It gave people. It eased their fears. I could see that. And I was very grateful that I could say that honestly and with full confidence. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. And Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate what everybody has said. I'd echo that. I'd also include the clerk of the board, Teresa Durst, and the public information officer, Tom Bennett, because Teresa is kind of the nexus for everything. And having praised you, now I want to give you more work, Teresa. I asked the county manager, when we get emails that are sent to the commissioners that ask what are we doing or is there information, my suggestion is that Teresa send to them immediately the proclamation that we did, so that then they have the data. Because some people want information, other people want emotional reassurance, even if it sounds like they're forming a lynch mob to come after us. We've had some of those. So if Teresa could do that, then that maybe continues the public outreach that's really been the hallmark of this effort by staff, and it's supported what we're able to do as commissioners. So I reached out to the commissioners of Columbia and Tillamook and Lincoln counties so that we're part of that region and feeling united with them. Then I wrote a letter to Senator Roeblen, because he's co-chair of the legislature's COVID-19 committee, and Commissioner Krula had an excellent suggestion that money go to support rural hospitals. So I told him it was like I was on a volleyball team and I was the setter. I set it up and said, hey, we should do this. And then Mark followed up with specific information. So he spiked it home. And we'll hope that what we're able to do is to get our community's needs met. I mean, Commissioner Krula has the specifics of the hospital situation, but I think all of us have been forthright in explaining to Senator Johnson and Representative Mitchell what we need. They've done their best to help the governor respond timely to us. That whole business of having the tourists flood the place and the impact on our system, I think it's a wake-up call about diversifying our economy. And so we'll see about going forward with that. The other thing is, I had to leave Clatsop County in order to be online reliably. So I'm over here in Corvallis because I don't have adequate internet capacity where I live at the capillary end of the system. I talked to a neighbor in Arch Cape. He said, oh yeah, my neighbor is running hospital staffing for nurses in 7 states. Maybe that's where all the bandwidth is going. So, yeah, it's a wake-up call in a lot of ways. It's great because it could have been much worse, but it lets us know the things we need to be paying attention to. So I on the Western Governors Association conference, and we talked about broadband, and so I'm following up with some phone calls to some people, continuing to work on that. Chair Sullivan spoke and some other folks as well, but we need broadband. We need to diversify our economy. If we have broadband, we're going to be better able to do it. So I'm going to continue with that and see what I'm able to do. Because if we're working together, I think all of us have seen how our constituents really are looking to us in one way or another. And because of leadership from the county manager, we're able to give it to them. Specifically, credibly, I mean, really wonderful. My only concern is that the county manager has to take care of himself because he's the linchpin in all of this. So this is kind of like, not chastising, but cautioning that our county manager takes good care of himself. That's it. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
Madam Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
This is Commissioner Webb. May I amend my report? It starts with something very important. I think that several of my fellow commissioners were on the call that Tiffany Mitchell had about broadband, and it was a tremendous event. She had it was a very effective Zoom call, which includes a lot of people being able to see people. But I found that one of the best 2 hours I've spent in a long time. I really learned a lot, and it's a concern. I mean, I have right through the middle of my district, I have a dead place where a lot of people live. And this is an issue, and I think this is for other issues as well. While we're going through this pandemic fight, I would like us to have a bucket list of something that we can make sure that things don't fall through the cracks. Because I think that the broadband issue is something we need to be able to put staff resources on really quickly, but I certainly wouldn't want it to interfere with our public service to our citizens during the pandemic. So I hope, Don, I mean, you have a file somewhere that says when all the hurricanes are over, this is something we need to address aggressively.
Yes, Commissioner, that's on my list, so.
Okay. Okay.
And I actually have a broadband file on my desk, so.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you, Commissioner Webb. Yes, I would agree. I think it's a well-known wish. It's been on everyone's wish list for some time to improve the internet service and broadband capacity out here. And I think what's changing is the technology is changing and companies are moving in. So when we're able, I'm sure that we will do all we can to make that happen for all of our constituents, because it's the same thing out in my area too. Yeah. So again, I just want to echo what everyone else has said about what a wonderful team we have. I've been talking to folks out in the community, and they're not only happy with knowing how great our county staff is doing, but also the surrounding municipalities and whatnot that came together with these emergency decrees over the weekend. But I also want to say that we need to practice compassion as much as we can. I really don't believe, and I know you don't either, that these people didn't flood out here to infect our community. I think they just were thinking, well, it'll be okay if I go out there. And they don't think that 1,000 other people are going to join them. But with emotions so high on all sorts of levels, just to try to be as compassionate with ourselves and with each other as we can, so we can kind of instill a little more calmness if we can. The other concern, and you probably saw it, was on the the Oregon Health Authority, I think, newsletter. It was about social isolation. And I'm trying to figure out, do a little blurb on that, because, you know, we've talked about food supplies and medical care, but there's also, it's problematic for people to be isolated and for their routines to be changed. So how can we as a community, like calling our neighbors or emailing folks, to let them know that even though we're apart, we're not alone. And I'm going to work on trying to write something up, and maybe doing another video or something. I know that I think from the feedback I've gotten from individual commissioners, as they answer their emails and the flood that they've gotten from their own constituents, the sense of relief and the appreciation that they're getting from talking to each of you individually. And so I think we're in a powerful position to help our community by just letting them know, you know, giving them information that we have, and just talking to them and letting them know, hey, you're important too. And I think I can't imagine that you don't all agree with me on that. So, and let me see. And the other idea I thought was, because I'm connected with two businesses that are closed. Well, I'm not anymore with the hotel, but my sister's business is now just closed to wholesale bread making, and I've talked to some of the employees that I've worked with over the years. And is there a way that we can connect some of these communities that we're used to going to work every day, that maybe they can have a weekly Zoom conference where they can talk with each other? Those sort of efforts, and maybe Kevin Leahy and some other people in the community are working on that, but I mean, that's what I would suggest that we. And I didn't bring it up in that call today, and I forgot that I was going to bring that up. So I'll get back to you when I figure out what I'm going to do. But on the liaison positions, the Habitat Conservation Plan, the public meeting is March 30th. It's a webinar, and you probably all got an email on that. You can just go to the Department of Forestry, the Oregon Department of Forestry, if you want RSVP for that. I'll be on the call. It's from 1 to 4 on Monday. Tomorrow I have my Northwest Senior Disability Services meeting, and I'm going to ask them specifically about the warm line and the peer counseling, if they're still having that. As you know, they're still delivering senior meals throughout the county. So we're just everybody's helping each other, and we're doing the best we can, and I appreciate that. So with that, I will go to a county manager's report. Don Boone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Real quickly, on Tuesday at noon, we'll have a work session, and the focus is COVID-19, but it's also to really talk about some of the financial impacts, not only for the county, but for the community, and talk about those a little bit, and see if we can coalesce around some strategies moving forward as we go through the budget process. The other is that we've been working to get an office ready. If your board approves item number 12 today on the regular business agenda, Joanna Lyons-Antler will be joining us as your new county counsel Wednesday. So that's exciting, especially for Heather. And so that would mean that this is really Heather's last board meeting as the sitting county counsel. So I just want to recognize Heather for her amazing contributions over her years serving Clatsop County. She's made my transition a lot easier. And I just want to thank her for that before she kicks me in the shins. And then, I just want to also thank the board for your support as we are dealing with this, once in a career challenge, which is the pandemic. Staff's work is so much easier when you have great political leadership, and I just want to thank all of you for supporting all of our efforts. It makes a big difference, and that's all that I have today.
Thank you, and I appreciate you mentioning Heather, this would be her last meeting. That didn't dawn on me, and Heather, we will, of course, find a way to acknowledge you in a better way than getting kicked back in the shins from underneath the table. So, thank you so much, Heather, and I know we all support you, and we'll figure something out for you.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to say something for Heather right now?
Well, I've known Heather for this is Commissioner Nabucco. I've known Heather for many, many years. She was actually our personal attorney, and she always served us, our whole family, in an excellent manner, and I have enjoyed very much being able to work with her as commissioner. She's
Thank you,
exceptionally
Commissioner.
competent.
I think that was
and easy to work with,
1982.
That was what?
1982 is the first time I worked with you.
Oh my, that's been a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
Graduated from college. Any other commissioner would like to say something to Heather right now?
Well, this Commissioner Whale, I just can't imagine as a new commissioner not having had Heather there to counsel me on so many different issues. I hope that she has been integral, since she has been integral to our selection of a new county council. I just hope that I know that our new council will I hope that she will rise to the level of just plain good confidence that we have in Heather. And that would be my dream, is that I hope she's as good as Heather someday.
I have no doubt that she will be.
Good.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner Quealy, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I kind of echo that, and I also think that our new county council is going to have huge shoes to fill. But I just have really appreciated Heather's counsel, and her wisdom, her institutional knowledge is unparalleled. She's just been an amazing asset to the county. It's a big vacuum that's going to be left when she leaves, and I just to say I just appreciate her friendship more than anything. So wish you all the best, and thanks so much for being such a huge part of Clatsop County.
Well, thank you.
Heather, yeah, of course. Heather, on a sailboat, how they have that part that goes down, some board that goes down from the bottom of the keel and it's under the water and nobody sees it, but it's the thing that stabilizes the whole ship. I mean, yeah, it's got to have a sail, yeah, it's got to have a rudder. You're that for us. You're the thing under the surface that keeps the ship of Clatsop County stabilized and moving forward on course no matter what happens with the wind and the waves and the rudder. That's you for me.
Covered with barnacles. Thank you.
Too funny.
And Heather, I hope that you will remember my jokes rather than the times that I've called you and ranted on the phone. So I appreciate your counsel and your friendship also. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay, anything, Heather, you'd like to say to us?
Pardon?
Anything you'd like to say to us?
No, it's been wonderful working with you all. I'm not going very far. I'm staying in my office. I expect both Joanna and I'll be seeing a lot of both Joanna and Don in the next few months. So I'm here, but I think I'm leaving you in very, very capable hands. Joanna is very anxious to get here. She's trained in a lot of emergency management issues. She's ready to hit the ground running. She was on an hour-long conference call today with me with the county councils, getting up to speed on the legal issues surrounding COVID. So I think you're going to be in very good hands.
Well, thank you very much, and we're going to count on your help. So, in fact, may I ask you a question right now? On the public hearings that we are going to move forward to another date. Do I just read the statement?
Yeah, just
we don't have
read your
to vote on-
script. And that's the whole thing,
Okay.
that you're the only one that needs to say anything on them.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we are now moving into the public hearing. And number 8 on the public hearing is postponing the hearing for vacation for a vacation of a portion of 3rd Avenue in Cove Beach on page 98. Is there any information from the staff?
No, there's no information from the staff today, Commissioner.
Thank you. Hearing no information, the statement I'm reading is due to the COVID-19 outbreak and the Governor's Executive Order 2012, the public hearing will be continued until May 13th. Thank you. So let's move on to issue number 9, postponing the hearing for ordinance 2002, outdoor lighting, which is on page 99. Is there any information from staff?
No, Commissioner, there's no information from staff.
Thank you. Due to the COVID-19 outbreak and the Governor's Executive Order 2012, the public hearing will be continued until May 13th. Okay, now we are now moving down to the number 10, appointment of additional members to the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee, which is on page 100. Would anyone like to make a motion? Whose district is it? I'm sorry, let me go back. Do we have a staff report on the appointment?
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Gail Henriksen, Community Development Director. In the process of working with our citizen advisory groups, particularly the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee, they wanted to have an appointment made to have a representative from the Chinook Indian Nation on their committee. And following that, Commissioner Quia also brought to staff's attention that it would probably also be appropriate to have a representative from Camp Wailea on the Clatsop Plains Advisory Committee as well. Staff reached out to those 2 organizations to get their recommendations on members that they would recommend be approved by the Board of Commissioners. And so tonight, staff is recommending that Devin Adding and be appointed from the Chinook Indian Nation, with Don Adding being appointed as an alternate member in case Devin is not available. And Camp Wailea has recommended that Todd Farmer, Deputy Director of the Installations Division for the Oregon Military Department, also be appointed to the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Director Hendrickson, or can I just call you Gail? I believe on my script, and it was on the call today, I think Todd Farmer got promoted, and I think the new name now is Philip Johnson. Is that correct?
Yes, sorry, that was my mistake. Yes, Philip Johnson.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any other comments? No, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, we are looking for a motion to appoint Devin Abing and Philip Johnson as members of the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee, and to appoint Don Abing as a alternate member of the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee. Do we have anyone who would like to make that motion? Whose district is it? It's the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory. Which district is that, Gail? Is that Sarah's? Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Sarah, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I would. Did you say it was Don or Devin?
It's Devin. Devin is the one that would be the full-time person, and Don would serve as an alternate.
So is that part of the motion?
Yes, the motion would be appoint Devin Abing. Are you saying, would you like to do that as a separate motion? That's on page 101, Sarah.
I'm there.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see. Never mind. I apologize. Yes. Madam Chair, I move that the board appoint Devin Abing and Philip Johnson as members of the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee, and appoint Don Abing as an alternate member of the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we've got 2 seconds on there.
I got Commissioner Thompson has made the second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Okay, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Kula?
Aye.
Commissioner Webb?
Aye.
Commissioner Nebeker?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Aye. Okay, so the motion passes 5-0 to appoint Devin Obbing and Philip Johnson as members of the Clatsop Board, Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee, and appoint Don Obbing as the alternate member of the Clatsop Plains Citizen Advisory Committee. Thank you. So let's move on to item number 11, the jail management and software purchase, which is on page 72. May we have the staff report, please?
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Sheriff Phillips. Can I go off script for 1 second, real quick?
Sure.
Okay. With regard to recognizing the COVID incident management team, I think it's important to recognize that this is all possible because the staff that we have, we work at this level all the time, usually not just on one project, but we work together really well all the time, and this highlights that, where we can put all of our efforts into something so important.
Here, here.
So, okay.
I agree.
Thank you.
Tonight, I wanted to bring before you a contract to purchase the new jail management software system. Our existing system was built around the year 2000 in-house by county staff and really hasn't seen any updates since. So we're running a 20-year-old software program, and I don't know of any other 20-year-old software programs around. And it certainly doesn't meet our needs today. It certainly doesn't meet our needs for point statistics. Like right now, I can't even go and look and tell you how many females versus males we booked into the jail over the year. I'd also like to be able to pull reports on like what's our most common charge. Or I would like to be able to tell you where one inmate has been housed during their stay. Currently, we would have to go back through hand-typed notes to see where they've been staying within the jail at any one time while they've been staying with us. And then this program would also combine multiple workflows for our staff, making them much more efficient. And this is all going to be really important going to the new jail. We budgeted for this in the 1920 budget, and we were going to go out for an RFP, but Washington and Marion counties were also looking for new jail management software systems, and they did that. Each of them has landed on Executive Information Systems as the vendor, who is also the company that we were looking at as well. EIS seems to have the corner on the market in Oregon, and they already provide several canned reports that are specific to Oregon needs. Purchasing the system now has a couple benefits. It'll allow the staff to get trained and competent on the program before we go to the new jail. And also part of it was the pricing is partly determined by the size of the facility it's going into, and there was no penalty for us to buy it now with a 60-bed jail and then move over to the new facility. So, any questions about the jail management software system?
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you. Sheriff Phillips, I have great confidence in you, and I believe that you know what you're doing. From my experience updating a system, the really most difficult pinch point is the data migration. And I couldn't tell from reading the contract, maybe I didn't read it carefully enough, will they have people on site to support the data migration?
We brought in our IT department for the conversations about that. A lot of that was a bit over my head, as I don't specialize in the computer world, but it sounded like, talking to our IT folks with theirs, that the data migration wouldn't be a problem, that we have a good handle on that, and we can provide them the files necessary to migrate that data.
Swell, thank you. I have a question. This is Commissioner Webb.
Commissioner Webb, yes.
I'm always nervous when we spend public funds and we don't go out for a competitive bid. And I guess maybe this is a question for Heather. I mean, are we covered in this instance?
Yes, this is a special exemption. This was the contract that was bid from Washington County. When Washington County went out, they said, we are going to allow this contract to be used by any other public entity. In this case, it'd be a county, in any other county in Oregon that wants to also bid in on us. So when you are bidding in response to our job, you need to know that you are also going to be bidding, you're going to be the one that will be the other counties will also be able to use you under the terms of this contract. So we are doing what's called piggybacking, that's a legal term, onto Washington County, and we are just going along for the ride on their contract. Our contract, in fact, is a 1 or 2 page document that says everything Washington County gets, we get.
But just to clarify, Commissioner Webb, is that Washington County did go through a competitive process.
Okay. No, so this is sort of like the way we buy our vehicles.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would add that both Washington County and Marion counties spent significant time and resources and even hiring outside consultants through their processes. They were very thorough and had resources to commit that exceed what we would have probably been able to do here, and they both landed on the same vendor.
Great. Okay. I feel good. This is better.
But did we find out about this because we have a connection with Washington County and Don Boone?
Well, actually, I've been working with Washington County on this project, I think, before Don started with us. The jail commanders, we're all pretty tight, and we talk a lot, and so.
Well, very good. And just so, you said that we'll get a certain amount because we have a lower population number. If the population goes up, does the amount then go up, or is this what we're with right now?
No, that's why part of the interest in buying it now. This is the one-time cost. There is a maintenance fee. I forget what it is off the top of my head right now. It's like maybe $10,000 a year, but that doesn't go up as the size of the facility changes. So we're saving a little bit of money right now.
Okay. Madam Chair, are we done? Can I move? I'm before the bells chime again.
Yeah, let me ask for the motion, please. So, do we have a motion for this?
I move to award the contract for configuration and implementation of a jail management software system to Executive Information Systems, Inc. in the amount of $122,770 and authorize the county manager to sign the contract and any amendments.
Thank you. Any second?
This is Commissioner Nabaker, second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I can't believe how they managed for so long. 20 years, that's amazing.
It is.
Well, it's amazing they wrote it themselves the first time too. That was that's something that it lasted 20 years. Even though it's not inadequate, it did something. So, okay. We have in front of us the motion to award the contract for configuration and implementation of a jail management software system to Executive Information Systems, Inc., in the amount of $122,770 and authorize the county manager to sign the contract and any amendments. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Webb?
Aye.
Commissioner Nebeker?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Aquila?
Aye.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Aye. Okay, so the motion passes unanimously, and we will be purchasing the software system from the Executive Information System in the amount of $122,770, and we will authorize the county manager to sign any amendments. Sheriff Phillips, may I ask you another question?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know during this COVID outbreak, 19 outbreak, that you also have an awful lot of responsibilities on your shoulders. Do you have anything that you would like to say to us or the community as from your point of view? Anything you need us to help you with, or that the community could help you with?
Right now, I think that from the law enforcement perspective, things are going really pretty well. Locally, all the law enforcement chiefs and myself and Oregon State Police are working cooperatively and collaboratively to talk through some of the challenges we face in trying to interpret and educate first on the governor's order and the various cities and the county's order. It's challenging. It's also challenging in trying to interpret how to take care of our employees through this, but we're getting through it. We got a good team, and we're just taking it a day at a time because it seems to change a day at a time.
Well, I appreciate you hit the ground running on this one, so thank you. And I didn't call out to you when we were, I know that we will be doing something for Heather in the future, I imagine, but until that time, if you wanted to say something from the personal or law enforcement point of view to Heather, this might be an opportunity.
Well, I'm speechless. Yeah, Heather has always been a cornerstone and a very good resource. Whether it was a actual technical question or just some of those times I just needed a piece of advice or someone to bounce an idea off of, and she's always been really great and happy to help.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. And take care of yourself. I want to say that, and we've said it before, but I'll say it to you and I'll say it to everybody else on the team. Take care of yourself. We need you.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on to, you're welcome. Let's move on to the last item on the agenda, which is the appoint the Clatsop County Council, and this is from page 88. We have a staff report on that.
Sure, Commissioner Sullivan, members of the board. By charter, the county council is one of two positions that reports directly to your board. The county council serves as the general legal counsel to the county and is part of the executive management team. This is a process that we started back in December of 2019 when we had a conversation and your board decided to transition to an in-house council model. We started the application process in February, and our goal way back in, I think it was December when we first talked about this process with the board, was to have a county council by March 30th. And so I have to say I was one day off when I projected way back 6 months ago, but this position, after final interviews, your board coalesced around the finalist, which is Joanna Lyons-Antley. And so we are asking that your board appoint Joanna Lyons-Antley as Clatsop County Council effective April 1st of 2020.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Okay, may I hear would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. This is Commissioner Webb. I move that the Board of Commissioners appoint Joanna Lyons-Antley as Clatsop County Council effective April 1st, 2020.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing no need for discussion, let's have the roll call, please.
Commissioner Nebeker?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Aquila?
Aye.
Commissioner Webb?
Aye.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Aye. Okay, so it was the Board of Commissioners has unanimously appointed Joanna Lyons-Antley as Clatsop County Council effective April 1st, 2020. And I think the Board of Commissioners would also unanimously like to thank Heather Reynolds. Good job on your, I guess this might be is this going to be your final meeting here with us?
Yes.
Okay.
So sad.
Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you.
Anything else to the board? What a way to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the phone.
You kind of count, hit the ground running.
We're going to have a shindig sometime later when we can all get together. Sounds good.
She's excited about that.
Good. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. Take care and stay well.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everybody.